All right, let's talk about something really important. Why is it that some incredible plans completely change the world while others just, well, they fizzle out? The secret, as we're about to see, is all about the people involved.
I mean, you've seen this happen, right? A brilliant idea. Maybe it's got a ton of funding, a really noble mission, and then nothing. It just falls flat. It's so frustrating, and it happens all the time. So what is going on? What's that one missing piece?
And here it is. It's because they forget about the people. It's really that simple and, of course, that complicated. You just can't build great solutions in a vacuum. They have to be built with a deep, real understanding of the people they're actually for.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to dig into why good ideas fail in the first place. Then, I'll give you a super useful toolkit for understanding the 3 key groups you always need to think about. After that, we'll talk about the hidden variable, power, and apply everything to a real-world example. And finally, we'll wrap it all up into a blueprint you can start using right away.
So let's jump right into section 1. This is all about the biggest problem, building in a vacuum. You know, when we cook up these grand plans without really understanding the human landscape, we're pretty much setting ourselves up to fail before we've even started.
And what's really interesting is how this all dominoes. If you ignore what a community actually needs, guess what? They're not going to want your solution. If you misunderstand your customers, your business is going to tank. And this is so important. If you don't get the power dynamics, you could actually end up doing more harm than good.
Okay, so how do we sidestep all of that? Well, we use a simple but really powerful diagnostic toolkit. It's all about learning to see 3 different groups of people: the community, the stakeholders, and the beneficiaries.
First up, we've got the community. Now, this is the big, broad group of people connected to whatever issue you're looking at. And listen, it's not just about a place on a map like a village. It can be an identity, like, say, all students or all women. Or it can be a shared experience, like facing poverty.
And this right here, this is probably the most important mental shift you have to make. A community isn't just a collection of problems you need to solve for them. No, they are the source of knowledge, of strength, of amazing ideas. They get their own challenges way better than any outsider ever will. The truth is, they're already holding the keys to their own solutions.
All right, next piece of our toolkit, stakeholders. Now, these are any individuals or groups who are affected by the problem or, and this is so crucial, people who can influence the solution. And that influence, it can be an incredible tailwind pushing you forward, or it can be a massive headwind stopping you dead in your tracks.
Let's make this real. Think about girls' education. Who are the stakeholders there? It's not just the students, right? It's the parents who decide if their daughter even goes to school. It's the teachers. It's the community leaders who can champion the idea or shut it down. It's even NGOs and the tech companies providing the tools. If you ignore any one of these groups, your whole project could hit a brick wall.
And that brings us to our third and final group, the beneficiaries. Super straightforward, right? These are the folks who will directly benefit from whatever it is you're creating. And you can think of them as primary beneficiaries like the girls getting the education and secondary ones like their families who also benefit from that.
But listen, here is the absolute most important thing to remember about beneficiaries. They are not passive recipients. They aren't empty buckets you just pour your brilliant ideas into. No way. They have to be treated as active partners. You have to listen to them, involve them, and respect them. Their voice is essential if you want to create something that actually truly works.
Okay, so let's do a quick recap to see how this all fits together. The community? That's the broad group, like all rural families. The stakeholders? Those are the people who can influence things, like NGOs or local leaders. And the beneficiaries? They're the ones who directly benefit. In this case, the students. 3 different circles, but they all overlap.
All right, so we've got our toolkit, but now we need to add one more critical layer to our analysis, power. Seriously, understanding who has it and who doesn't, that's often the hidden variable that makes or breaks a project.
It sounds so obvious when you say it out loud, but it gets missed all the time. Not all stakeholders have equal power. Some people control the money, others make the big decisions. Some can totally shape public opinion. Their influence isn't equal, and you absolutely have to factor that in.
And this chart just lays it out so clearly. On one side, you've got your high-influence groups, the donors, government officials, powerful local leaders. But on the other side, you have groups with way less formal power, the actual end users, marginalized communities, the very women artisans we were talking about. A truly great plan figures out how to amplify the voices from that second column, because that's usually where the real truth of the problem is hiding.
Okay, enough theory. Theory is great, but let's see how this stuff actually works in the real world. We're going to take our toolkit and apply it to a pretty common scenario, a social business trying to help women artisans earn a better income.
First things first, let's identify our groups. So the community, that's the women artisans and, of course, their families. The primary beneficiaries, that's easy. It's the women themselves who are going to earn more money. And the secondary beneficiaries would be their families and kids who get a boost from that extra income.
Okay, now for the stakeholders. And this is where things get really interesting and complex. You've got local traders or middlemen who might actually fight this project because, hey, it cuts into their profits. Then you've got allies, like NGOs who can offer training, or online platforms that give direct access to a market. And you can't forget the customers. They're the ones with the wallets. A successful plan isn't just about having a good product. It's about navigating this entire messy web of competing interests.
So, there we have it. We've looked at the problem, we've got our tools, we've even walked through a real-world case. Now, let's pull all of this together into a simple, actionable blueprint for making a real, lasting impact.
You know, this entire philosophy can really be boiled down to one single powerful idea. The best social ventures listen before they act. Before you build, before you launch, before you even finalize your grand plan. You just listen. You do the hard work of understanding the people. And here it is, your whole blueprint distilled into 4 essential questions. Before you do anything, I mean anything, ask yourself these. 1. Who is the community affected by this? 2. Who's going to directly benefit if we solve this? 3. Who can help us and who can block us? Who are all the stakeholders? And 4. The one that changes everything. Who really has the power here and who doesn't?
And that really brings us to the big takeaway. The mantra that should guide everything you do if you want to create positive change. The best, most lasting solutions are built with communities, not for them. It's about being partners.
So I'm going to leave you with a challenge. Think about a problem that you really care about. It could be in your job, in your neighborhood, or out in the wider world. How would you look at it differently now using this blueprint? What's one problem you're going to re-examine?